This is the Casio Tonebank CT395, a budget Casio keyboard that I could find extremely little information about online. The manual does not state what year it was released, but online instrument marketplace Reverb.com helpfully lists it as being from the 1980s, which was not obvious from looking at it and hearing the hip-hop preset beat. This unremarkable, forgotten keyboard has 110 sound presets, and a series of pre-recorded beats that you can play along to. I must confess, I bought this in a thrift store for $30, and thought very little of it, other than having the novelty of an unapologetically dated instrument that's also pretty fun to play. But I got far more than I bargained for. A singular sound preset on this keyboard is notable for its resemblance to another far more iconic product from Japan: the music of the early Legend of Zelda title A Link to the Past. Specifically, the Light World dungeon theme. Now, here's where I confess I've never played A Link to the Past, and only really picked it up when I considered the prospect of this video. As a side note, it's a good game, you should play it. But as I arrived home after lugging my crusty keyboard home via a city bus and plugged it into my amp, I was immediately drawn to the weary, warbled, sun-bleached sound of the Strings 1 preset. My mind raced. Where had I heard this before? I scrambled as my fingers on the keys sought to recall what the sound had reminded me of. I failed to play anything that sounded like the Light World dungeon theme, as I can't actually play keyboards, but my brain was able to fill in the blanks. It sounded like a Zelda song I had heard somewhere. With the faintest idea of what I was looking for, I was finally able to put my master's degree to any use and do some serious research. After getting very lucky and finding what I was looking for right away, the Light World dungeon theme, the foreboding strings, the throbbing bass, the singing trumpet, the synthetic string pads, worn down and blistered in their tape-like goodness, sounded exactly the same as the 30-something-year-old keyboard I had just purchased. Even with my uncoordinated sausage fingers and rudimentary musical ability, I was able to imitate something that sounded like the notes I was hearing. The string sound was the same. As always, I ruined my own joy by thinking about it too hard, and deployed my deck-creating research skills further. I tried to find the barest of information about how the Link to the Past soundtrack was recorded. I could find very little, only that Based Kondo himself had composed and produced the music, but nothing further. In my fevered state, I sought to replicate the sounds myself. I had to know, how close could this sound to the actual original soundtrack? I quickly recorded a few samples of the string sounds of the Casio, loaded up a MIDI arrangement of the Light World dungeon theme, and set about the art of replication. And, in my honest opinion, the result sounded exactly the same. Well, almost. Accounting for differences in the final production, the addition of different delays, reverbs, compression, and equalizer, the difference was negligible. But, to state my final opinion, no, I don't think that Based Kondo somehow acquired a budget Casio keyboard and used it for the soundtrack of one of the most iconic and well-loved video games of all time. Even though the keyboard probably existed during the game's development, and even though Casio had been producing cutting-edge technology in Japan alongside Nintendo for decades, there's no chance Kondo would somehow choose to use this extremely basic children's keyboard and use it for his large-budget musical statement at the dawn of home video gaming. But damn it if the strings don't sound the same. You can be the judge.